Welcome to our third of a series of videos on the Behringer X32. We're looking at some of the very basic things to get us up and going on this digital desk. In this video, what we're going to look at is how to mix foldbacks. So just a heads up, in this video, I don't have any of my front of house on. It's actually completely off. What we're going to hear is exclusively the foldbacks. So a couple things to clear up. There's two different ways of doing this, and they both involve buses. So either bus sends up here, or there's some buses over here. And so I'm going to show you how to do both ways and tell you which one that I prefer to do and what's the easiest probably. The other thing I need to say is on the Behringer X32, the main way and probably the easiest way to handle foldbacks is through buses. On other desks, you may be used to using auxiliary sends or aux sends, AUX, but on this desk, the best way to do it is through bus sends. And they are very close, so the difference is quite minute between a bus and an aux. Alright, so let me show you the first and the most standard way to do it. However, this isn't the way that I like to do it. So let's say we have the base that we want to include. Now I need to tell you that the first thing I'm going to do is press the select button, and I already know that I have got a foldback or a wedge, and one of them is going to be for the vocals, that's at the front of the stage. The other one's going to be for the band at the back of the stage. So this is just for a little bit of bass that comes through for the band. So I'm going to select the bass, and then up here for the bus send, I'm going to press view. You'll notice that the whole screen changes. And then I have 4 different knobs here. I also have a button that selects either buses 1 to 4, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, buses 5 to 8, so now this turns into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. On this desk, we've got it set up so that bus 1 and 2 control the buses for the foldbacks. Remember that bus 2 was for the band. So what I'm going to do is press 1 to 4 and then turn this one up till we're happy with it. Keep in mind that the best practice, the best use of foldback is just enough for the musicians to hear themselves, not so that they are surrounded with noise, because that will affect the front of house. Let's get a singer. So I press the select button, and what I'm going to do is put them now into pressing view into the singer's foldback, which is the first one, and also a little bit into the band. And we can continue to do this. Now you'll see that there's also over here, when I press bus 1 to 8, I can also control the overall volume of these two. So if I just want to hear the band wedge, or if I just want to hear the vocals, the wedge that's in front of the vocals, I can press that one, pull that one up. The desk might look like this, and there might be a bunch of different things, but the one that we're looking at is bus 1 to 8. That's one way of doing it, and that's as you select each channel, you control it here. The other way to do it is to specifically look at each individual foldback, and this is the way that I like to do it. So I like to think, what do the singers need to hear at the front? What we can do is select this foldback or this bus, and then put sends on fader, and you'll notice that it starts to blink at us red, because where we normally use this for front of house, this is now all talking about this one bus. And so what we're going to do is press select and then sends on fader, and now we're just thinking about what do the singers need to hear. So obviously they need to hear themselves, and I'm going to put our recording back so we can also have some material to listen to. So it's quite loud, so I'm going to pull it down. I'm also going to mute the other one just to prove a point, so they can hear themselves. These are all our singers. They also might want to hear some synth and a little bit of guitar. So that's our singers all happy. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to press mute on that, is we're going to think about what do the band need to hear. So I'm going to press select. It's still flashing, so what we're still looking at here is not front of house but the wedge for the band, or the bus send for the band. And so what they want to hear is maybe some kick. I'm going to press mute so we can start to hear that. They might want to hear the lead vocalist.
The Lord has promised good to me.
I'm going to turn this down so I can speak over it, but the acoustic guitar player will need to hear a lot of himself because he probably doesn't have an amp. Same for synth. And everybody's probably pretty happy with that. Now, what I'm going to do is press sends on fader, and we're going to see that this will now go back to not just listening to a sprinkling depending on the location of where the people are, but this is going to show what actually comes through front of house. There's a couple of things I need to point out, and that is this. In case something happens and there's feedback on stage and we start to panic, and just say we're currently editing what it sounds like on stage for one of the foldbacks. Just say the lectern is feeding back and I press mute. Actually what we're doing is we're only muting it in the foldback. So as we think about front of house, now the mute has gone away. So that's something to be mindful of. You may need to mute things in different places. Something also to think about is, as an acoustic guitar is finished, they're going to want to pull their lead out. And to prevent it from going bang, our first instinct is going to be in front of house to mute the guitar channels at the end of the song so they can pull out their lead of their guitar. However, if we haven't done sends on fader, it's still going to go bang. So we might want to also press all these mutes as well at the end of the song so they can pull their lead out. And this is what it looks like now. And that's the end of this video. Thanks.